Hi there. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable. We are the show that blends the love of whiskey with the love of music. And right off the bat, we want to tell you something very, very important that you need to remember.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Don't forget to comment if you're watching live in the chat. Leave a comment down below afterwards. Always remember that thumbs up.
Mike is a professional at that. He is a professional at that. So he did that little like, share, comment, subscribe for us when we did our New Year's show. So I have cropped that out, and that may be a regular part of every show we do from now on, because he does such a good job at it. But
he's got the repetition down for it. That's for sure.
Yes, he does. He'll sell us a used car or a workplace injury attorney's services. But anyway, Ben, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Doing good, Kevin. How are you?
Good. How are things at Kentucky Artisan?
Doing great. Running wild, man. Lots of bottling, a lot of stuff going on. So we're staying really, really busy, prepping up for the coming season and in the new year. So
yeah,
a lot of exciting things going on.
That's awesome. Drew, you've had a big weekend.
Yeah, very full weekend. Put out the project and did a little show this weekend, and still recovering from that a little bit today. But it was been a blast, and I think maybe you and I need to take a little field trip to go see our esteemed co-host out at Kentucky Artisan sometime.
I think that needs to happen sooner rather than later.
I think you're correct.
So
y'all should.
I don't know if we need to wait on an invitation or just crash the place, but
yeah, I think we just show up.
Show up.
Show up. Let me know you're there. I'll get you back, and we'll get a good look at what's going on.
We'll just hang out with Jade. You can do your own thing. We don't really care.
Forget me.
We're here to see Ben. And who? Ben, the guy that runs the place. Yes. No, that'll be good. We'll have to do that. We'll do some Facebook Live or Instagram Live stuff with you there. That'd be fun.
That would be really cool.
Trying, won't give away any trade secrets or anything, but
yeah, that is a thing, because there's a lot of NDAs with the things we do. Probably have to get a little pre-approval or something like that, kind of see what we're doing. But as far as a live or some video footage, but
well, we don't want you to get in trouble and get you canned or anything. Or
that would not be good.
Or on the naughty list.
Yeah.
You don't need to be on the naughty list.
No naughty list.
So tonight we're going to be. This is going to be the first time we've done a show like this, and we'll see how it goes. And if it goes well, we'll try to do this on a fairly regular basis. But it is new whiskey, new music, and it's very clever title, very cerebral. It may take you a minute to figure it out, but what we're going to talk about is new whiskey. Wait now, and new music. So, in side A of the show, we're going to talk about some new whiskey. So, each of us has a bottle of something that is new or new to us, and we're going to tell you a little bit about it and see if it's something that maybe you're interested in too. So, Drew, why don't you kick us off, buddy?
Yeah. So the bottle is across the room, so I'm not going to be able to show it, but this is a Nashville Barrel Company single barrel pick from Cox's that I picked up a while back. I was just kind of intrigued by them. Seen some good stuff online. So this is a 6-year, 104 proof single barrel pick that they did about 2 months ago, I think is when I picked it up. And it's really, really tasty. It's a cinnamon bomb, so heavy on kind of the baking spice thing. Sort of reminds me of Wild Turkey Rare Breed, just that kind of profile.
Yeah.
And I know they're doing some interesting stuff with finishing and some different staves and things like that to get more surface area exposure inside the barrel and stuff like that. So pretty interesting whiskey. Definitely, like I hate to say it's one-dimensional, but it is all baking spice. So if that's something that you're into, which I am, it's great. But I'm just enjoying this bottle. Something to kind of sip on.
Yeah. Now, they're sourcing, correct?
I believe that is the case. Yes. So all of their distillate is between, I think, like 5 and 8 years. Everything that I've seen out, guess is Barton, but I don't have confirmation on that. It's just that's the profile that I'm thinking. But you guys may know more than me. I know they are sourcing. I'm just not 100% confident on the actual location that they're getting it from.
I've heard people say really good things about it. I've tried a couple of their things, a couple of their products. I believe they're MGP.
MGP.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe it's MGP. Yeah.
Well, they don't have. I will say there's nothing cheap. They do not have an entry level expression whatsoever. So I would just encourage if you get a opportunity to try a store pick before you purchase, definitely do that. Just to make sure that profile is something that you enjoy. Don't do it blind on that one.
What'd you say the age was on it?
It's 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. As that MGP whiskey, whether it's a rye or a bourbon, ages a little bit, it definitely matures differently than a lot of what you see sourced.
Yeah. And from what I understand, I was doing a little digging on it. I think they're using some kind of grooved stave and doing something kind of similar to what Jason is doing over with Buzzard's Roost, of just kind of, yes, they are sourcing, but they're doing some interesting stuff with the aging technique to kind of make it their own. So pretty cool.
Very cool. Good. I didn't realize that. That's great. Ben, have you had any Nashville Barrel stuff?
I have not. Haven't had to try them yet. But what I do have over here is actually probably going to be really darn similar. Because it's also MGP sourced.
Yeah.
This one's a high rye mash bill, and it is 6 years old. It's a single barrel cast drink, but tumbling dice.
Oh yeah.
So this particular bottle was a gift from a friend of ours, Shannon Hood, out of Texas. You can follow her at Poorly Educated, as in a pour of whiskey, on Instagram. She does a lot of good whiskey education stuff. She has a lot of certifications. Just a great person. Good one to follow on the social media thing. But yeah, so this one was a fresh gift from her. And it's a really impressive bottle of MGP. It's coming in at 117 proof. And it is all brown sugar, cardamom, and peach syrup on the nose. It's just really delightful concoction there. So I think MGP starts to hit that 6 year mark, and it really transforms. So
when Shannon was in town a couple weeks ago, we talked, and she's going to come on the show sometime, and I think we're going to have her do a little walk us through a tasting like she would with a group. And so that'll be fun. That'll
be awesome.
She's a huge music fan, loves live music, and her daughter is a phenomenal piano player.
Yeah,
so.
She's brilliant. Yeah. Well, mine is not MGP. It is not sourced. It is. I got this in the UPS man from the UPS man yesterday. This Wallisham bottled in bond.
Nice.
From a friend I know up in Wisconsin. So I think you may know him pretty well too, Ben.
Might know who that is. A slight acquaintance.
Yes. But on this property, the Wallisham property, they were a winery since like 1840, and they started distilling brandy there then too. Then 1899, the whole thing froze. There was this terribly cold winter, and it froze all the vineyards, and they just shut it down, and it turned into a dairy farm until the Wallersham family bought it in the early 70s, and they bought it to have a winery. And then Wisconsin changed their laws to allow a winery to also make distilled spirits. And so they got their distillery license in 2010. They released their first brandy in 2013 and their first whiskey in 2018. So this is the 2021 Wallisham bottled in bond bourbon, and it is 4 years old. It's 75% white corn, 15% malted barley, and 10% rye. And it's kind of got a little orange, a little cinnamon, and on the palate, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of nuttiness.
Nice.
So your fat guy tasting note,
Bring it.
fiddle faddle. Fiddle faddle or crunch and munch, whatever your
Right.
local grocery stocked when you were a kid. But
Like it.
it's pretty delicious. So, gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, good sirs.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Yeah, we'll see that at a bourbon fellowship for too long also. So
Outstanding.
all right. So any other thoughts on new whiskey? Anything you got your eyes on trying to find?
Nothing I'm trying to find, but I just got this baby in the
Uh-huh.
Leopold Brothers Holiday Edition 3-chamber. Have not gotten to crack it yet, but a couple days before that, I got the collaboration rye that he did with Dickel. So getting ready to do the whole lineup of the original Distillers Edition 3-chambers, the collaboration, and the Holiday Edition. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You'll have to send us the tasting notes on that.
Yeah, we'll get together and have a tasting of that as well. Kevin's got that lineup too. So
yeah, we ought to get together and just do a group tasting of the three.
Yeah,
how about that?
No objections here.
Like a winner.
All right. So that kind of wraps up side A of the show. You've got hopefully some things to be on the lookout for. The Nashville Barrel Company bourbon that Drew talked about, the tumbling dice that Benjamin talked about, and then I've got this Wallersheim bottled in bond. All three sound like they're pretty darn good, and probably worth your while to trace down and at least get a tasting of.
Yeah.
But as we are wrapping up this side of the show, we want to take a brief moment and talk a little bit more about Drew Crawley's new EP, Tower Songs, which went live on Friday. So, Drew, tell us what people need to do here to get.
It's out in the world. You can find it anywhere that you stream music. No physical copies available yet, but we're working on that. And you can find it, like I said, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. If you would just follow my artist page on any of those, that's a big help. There are some targets that we're trying to hit with streaming numbers that help secure some money for another projects and get to keep doing this thing. So it would be a huge help if you're a fan of kind of alt country or Americana, folk, anything kind of in that vein. Dirt emo, go give that a listen, and I would appreciate it if you would follow as well. So
double platinum already.
So I think grand total like 44 listens. Yeah.
All right.
And so if that qualifies for something, ooh, I was about to knock my little computer thing off here. Sorry about that.
Major technical difficulties.
That would have been bad. But congratulations, Drew.
Thank you.
Again, Tower Songs. Search it on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music. In all seriousness, we tell you about. We've told you about some new whiskey. We think you can. We hope you know that you can trust us on that. We're going to tell you about some new music, but new music that can really make a difference for somebody is this Tower Songs project for Drew. So give that a listen, like, follow, subscribe. Do I need to play the Mike's thing again, or are we good?
No, I think it's fine.
All right.
I mean, there's never enough Mike, so it's your call, I guess.
That is very true. That is very true. So we're going to flip over to side B, and one of the things that kind of came out on Alan Bishop Day when we had Alan on, and Alan was talking about, well, where do you find good music anymore? And that's a great question because it's not necessarily easy. Radio stations aren't what they used to be, and a lot of what you hear on radio stations these days are things that you probably wouldn't really care to listen to in the first place. So there's really good music out there. Sometimes you just have to hunt for it, just like finding good whiskey. We told you about some things that we were able to hunt down and that are really good. And I think that's where we are with music too. if you want to find something good, something new, you have to look a bit. So we've got a handful of things that we're going to bring out, and I'll tell you what, I'll kick it off with this Daniel Donato album called Cosmic Country and Western Songs. And Donato is 25 years old. He started playing with the Don Kelly Band, which is the house band at Robert's Western World in Nashville and on Broadway. And I think he was 18 years old when he started doing that. And this is a guitar wonder boy. I mean, he's just fantastic. And this is his second album, and it is essentially, it's all covers of classic country songs by Waylon Jennings, Tom T. Hall, Willie Nelson, Buck Owens. And I think it's the last song on the album is an instrumental version of Ghost Riders in the Sky that will knock your socks off. So highly recommend this. If this is the future of country music, it's going to be fun to watch and listen to. So did you guys get a chance to listen to any of that?
Yeah, I did.
I
I loved it. It was great. I mean, that's right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of tell some of the people that he runs with, even if they're not, best of friends, some influences on that. Great guitar player, excellent record. It's definitely on my playlists.
Yeah.
Also, do you think he's into psychedelics? I couldn't tell from his album. I'm not sure. It's pretty subtle messaging.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Oh man,
no.
no way.
It's all in good fun.
Psychedelics and country music? No.
All I know is I found this was almost in my top 5 for 2021. This came out in October, November of 2021, and it's a lot of fun. I keep going back to it, so highly recommend that you give that a try. Again, and all of these will have samples of everything that we're talking about from the albums on our playlist for this show, so you can certainly go in and try those out. Now, Drew, you had one, Stephen Wilson Jr.
Yeah. So Stephen Wilson is a Hoosier from right across the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's from the Knobs or just a little bit south of the Knobs, over in Indiana here. Formerly guitar player for a band called Anaheim, and really, really great songwriter, and really just kind of came across him actually through TikTok, which is not my thing.
Well, I'm embarrassed for you.
yeah, I know. But I was just kind of swiping through, and I heard this voice, and I was like, oh man, this is great. And kind of got into some of his writing. The song that is the single that from the artwork that you put up. It's called "Year to Be Young," 1994. Just kind of about some of the things that were going on in the world then, and but it is very specific. It reminded me a little bit of some of Taylor Swift's writing. How she's very much a memoirist, where she puts these very specific references to, this or that colored shirt and this weather and this smell or taste or whatever, and you kind of get a picture of exactly where she was and what she was talking about. This guy writes in a very similar way. So really have enjoyed kind of getting into him as a songwriter, and the fact that he's from right across the bridge is kind of cool too. So,
and he looks like a young Thomas Hayden Church.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. Yes.
I think we've got an episode of Wings coming up. Okay.
Yeah. Used to love that show.
Yeah. That was a very underrated show, I thought.
It really was.
Very clever. It was kind of like the Taxi of its day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we're going to get down a rabbit hole. Okay. But let's talk about Stephen Wilson Jr. just a little bit more. Everything that I found, I listened to, I think, everything that he's got on Spotify, and I enjoyed it all. There's just not that much of it. There's like 4 songs. Everything's like a single. So I don't know. I'd be interested to know where he is in terms of recording and writing music and performing. Because I think he'd be fun to go see if he's playing anywhere in the area.
Absolutely. Well, he's based in Nashville now. I do know that, and I know he was working with that band for a little while. But yeah, really interesting character. I was listening to an interview that he gave. Apparently, his dad, um, he was raised by like a single dad kind of a thing, and his dad was a Golden Gloves boxer,
Oh, wow.
and so he came up boxing, and then kind of is a self-taught guitar player and songwriter. So really interesting dude. But I mean, he's more of a writer than I think he is an artist. I mean, Tim McGraw, I think, has recorded a couple of his songs. Trace Adkins has. There's a couple of other people. So kind of in the similar vein to like a Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
He made his bones writing for other people and now kind of making that break into his own stuff, and pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Another one that I suggested is this band called The Record Company. This is an album called Play Loud. This is their third album, and they really track, to me, a lot like the Black Keys.
Mm.
If you listen to their first couple of albums, they're more raw and rough and just rough around the edges, kind of like Thick Freakness, Rubber Factory were for the Black Keys. And then you get into this album, and it still sounds a lot like the Black Keys. And honestly, when I first heard it, I looked to see if Dan Auerbach was the producer. And then I remembered, okay, he's got a side band, and I couldn't remember what the name of it was. So I thought, well, maybe this is it. But his side band is the Arcs.
Okay.
But this is more in the vein of like El Camino, Turn Blue, Let's Rock. Okay, kind of the three albums leading up to the album of the year last year, Delta Cream. But it's very the songs are very well written. They're just a lot of fun. And if you like the Black Keys, I think you'd enjoy this. It's kind of like rediscovering, you know how when you first hear a band and you love it and you're like, oh wow, this is awesome. It's like, falling in love for the first time. And then you don't really get that chance again. Well, this is kind of like getting the chance to rediscover the Black Keys.
Very cool.
Yeah, you got me hooked on that right there. So
yeah. So check that out. Again, it's on all the streaming services and such. I don't know if you guys listen to this one at all or not, but it's pretty good stuff. Drew, you had one, Zach Bryan.
Oh yeah, man. Zach Bryan is one of my favorite discoveries that I've come across in the last. I guess I probably heard him for the first time last year, but it's been like a constant process of falling in love with his music. So he's from Oklahoma, a town called Stillwater, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from where I grew up. So that's kind of a cool little connection. Definitely in the red dirt country vein. He kind of puts out this. He's an incredibly prolific writer. I mean, he puts out like a song every 2 days on his social media. It's just him, playing in a bedroom, in his room, I'm assuming, and just kind of going for it. But he goes through this process with his records that are all centered around an important person, an important relationship in his life, and he'll name the whole record after that person, and it kind of follows these themes. So if you listen to a whole album front to back, it's very thematically cohesive and stuff like that. So Deanne is his mom, and all the songs on that record have something to do with that. So incredible songwriter. If you're a fan of like Tyler Childers, Jason Isbell type music, this guy is right up your alley. Coulter Wall is another one that is similar. So he's, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, he's going to be playing at Bonnaroo. So I'm excited to get to see him, and I'm going to try to catch a show of his anytime he's near.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed the song that you sent over, and I listened to most of that album, and found it to be.
Which
really,
one did
really
I
good.
send you guys? I don't remember. Was it Shivers Down Spines or was it Moon in Oklahoma?
Shivers Down Spines.
Shivers Down Spines. Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Good song.
Yeah. And I listened to it and I thought, okay, yeah, this is Drew. This is Drew's stuff.
Yep.
This fits really, really well. So,
Good deal.
yeah, and finding any of these on tour someplace would be a lot of fun too.
Mhm.
So we need to make it a point to do that. Oh, another one that I had is a band called Handsome Jack, and I just stumbled across this. It's their album called Get Humble. They've done quite a few albums. I think they did a self-released album, and then they did I think it was a self-released EP. Then I think this is like 3 albums later. So they've been around and been at it for probably 10 years or more. But this is a soul R&B rock fusion. The songs have a great groove to them. I think you look at something along the lines of a Daniel Rateliff, for example,
Mm.
or maybe even a little bit of Government Mule thrown in there too. It's but it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. They've got some songs that have great hooks to them, and you'll listen to them over and over again. So, Handsome Jack.
Awesome.
Jack.
I didn't get a chance to listen to that one either, but it's on my list of things to get to. I'm stoked by that. That's right up a whole bunch of artists that you named or people that I'm into. So looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah. Now, this one was the last one that you sent us, Drew.
Oh yeah, Japanese Breakfast.
Yeah, and well, you go ahead and tell us about it, and then.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, this is a new artist to me this year. I came across them listening to an episode of a podcast. They were interviewing the lead singer, and I think it was Vinyl Emergency. If you guys are familiar with that one, just talk about records or whatever. So it's very much in this Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, soccer mommies type vein. But it's really interesting writing. A lot of cool experimenting with some synth sounds. It is definitely a pop record, but not a top 40 pop record. It's very it's not Americana type instrumentation. It's definitely synth keys and stuff like that, but some really really cool experimentation there. Their newest record is called Jubilee, and definitely fits that title. It's a celebration album, and I'm a big fan. So check them out. Check them out.
Okay. See, to me, this would be what I would call off profile for you.
It is. It is a little bit.
I would not have pegged this as one that that you would have picked.
When the mood strikes. I'm not going to reach for it every night, right? But it definitely has its place in the rotation.
Okay, fair enough.
Sort of like this Nashville Barrel Company.
Sure. Well, yeah, and okay. So, how do you equate then looking for music with looking for whiskey, or do you?
Well, I think there's absolutely some crossover. I don't know that it's that Venn diagram is not a total circle, but music has this thing that whiskey has, I think, too, where it creates an atmosphere and a memory. There's a mood behind it. If I'm in a certain type of mood, I'm reaching for a certain record. If I'm in a certain mood, I'm reaching for a certain bottle. And so kind of curating your collections of those things to serve those functions and say, okay, hey, I'm having a rough day at work. Well, what I'm going to listen to is the Back in Black album, and I'm going to chug Booker's. That's whatever the case may be, whatever other combinations you want to put out there. The other thing I think that is comparable between the two is nostalgia and memory. I have so many specific memories attached to a certain album or a certain artist, and then a specific pour that maybe we shared that night or whatever the case may be. And so hunting down those things to either kind of curate a particular mood, or to remember something that you've done before. I think there's a lot of kind of crossover between curating and hunting new music and new whiskey for those reasons.
Mhm. Ben, how about you?
I'm right in line with Drew on that. For me, it's a lot about mood. I mean, I don't just sit down, and usually it's hard for me to say today, or even to plan ahead, say tomorrow I'm going to open this bottle or I'm going to have this, because a lot of it depends on the mood of the day. Same thing with music. Sometimes I can get a particular deep dive on an artist, and that's probably what I'm going to be listening to for the next weeks or even a month or so, is that artist, their albums, their songs. That's kind of what's going. But honestly, a lot of times it's just, what do I wake up feeling like in the morning? And that may dictate what kind of music I'm listening to. And then the same thing goes towards the whiskey at the end of the day. If I'm dark and moody, then I've probably got on, playing a perfect circle, and I'm coming home and I'm grabbing Ardbeg or something like that. If I'm, the sun's out and I'm in a great mood, then I might be putting on some Tedeschi trucks, or I don't know, something that's I feel brighter and happier, and I'm pouring up a nice bourbon or something like that. So it just it really reflects in my mood, and my palate desires change constantly. So I'm rarely reaching for the same bottle 2 days in a row. It's the same thing with music. It's, yes, I do deep dives on artists, but a lot of times it's not always the same thing over and over. It can really change and completely change in style. Like just in the last week or so, I've gone from listening to the Smiths to Danzig to Trampled by Turtles.
Okay.
So, just bouncing all over. And that just depends on mood and what I'm feeling like for that particular day. So,
yeah.
Cool.
That's very good. Yeah. Well, I've got a couple others that I want to throw out here. One is this Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, Raise the Roof album. This is the second collaboration that Plant and Krauss have done. The first one was 2007, an album called Raising Sand, and I think this just picks up where Raising Sand left off. Everything on that album is a cover, with the exception of one song called High and Lonesome that Robert Plant wrote with T-Bone Burnett, who was the producer of both this album and the Raising Sand album. And they're just fantastic songs. They do a great. You talk about blending whiskey. You're blending two of the best voices in my lifetime, anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, have you guys had a chance to listen to this album? It's been out, I guess, maybe a couple months.
Oh yeah, big fan. It's just money, start to finish.
Yep.
Not a miss on the thing. No skips.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, 100%. It's a fantastic album. I mean, and I feel the same way about pretty much everything Alison Krauss does, everything Robert Plant has done solo wise. And then you throw the two of them in together, and it's just, man, it's money. So as soon as I heard this was coming out, I was really excited.
Yeah.
It has not disappointed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And another one that would be wonderful to see live.
Yeah.
One more I want to throw out, and this just was released this week. It is Envy of None is the new band with Alex Lifeson of Rush. And they've got an album coming out, I think it's in April. They released the first single from that album called Liar, which you can find on YouTube or Spotify, any other streaming service. It is quite the departure from Rush, and I think I like it. It's good, but it's very, very different. And Alex was alleged to complain about the keyboards in Rush's music. Well, okay, this is your band, dude. There's a lot of electronics in it, but it's good. It's very different. The vocalist is someone I'd not heard of before, and she does a great job with it. But that's another one that you could check out for certain.
Very good.
Is it? I have not gotten to listen to that yet. So would it be a contrast like comparing Tool to Pussifer?
Even more so.
Really?
Yeah, even more
'Cause,
so.
yeah, that can be a dramatic change or difference in style and everything.
Yeah.
So
To me, there's still an identifiable common thread between Pussifer and Tool, even though it sounds very different, even though the
Mhm.
songs may be constructed a little differently. You can pick up certain, for lack of a better term, tasting notes that you can
Right.
see commonality.
Hmm.
This is not that way at all.
Wow.
So anyway, it's worth checking out if for no other reason, for comparative purposes, and it's free, so it's not going to cost you anything. Okay. Anything else, guys, on new whiskey or new music?
Yeah, music I have not gotten to explore a whole lot recently. I've been neck deep in podcasts lately. So usually I'll go through a phase of digging through music, digging through podcasts, and bounce back and forth. Right now I'm in a podcast phase. Whiskey, there's a lot of stuff around, honestly. Um, One I got to open recently that I found interesting sitting right here is a Stranahan's
Yeah.
single barrel cast strength. Just a gorgeous single malt. It's not overly complex, but the flavors are just beautiful. It's just what you describe as a pretty whiskey.
Yeah.
Pretty flavor, pretty notes. So yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot of cool stuff coming out. So
Good. All right, Drew. Anything else?
No, nothing for me. Just listen to a lot more music and drink more whiskey. Everybody should be doing both of those things, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, if you enjoyed this show, leave us a comment. Tell us you did. We will again put some of the music in the playlist that will accompany this show. But let us know what you think, and if it's the kind of thing that appeals to you, we'll do more of it in the future. So, with that in mind, Ben, tell us about another Bar Cart show.
well, really simple. Another bar cart show would be my whiskey den. You recently saw the three of us on together. I'm a co-host on that show myself. We focused on American craft whiskey. We also like to have a good time and be a little silly, but we do get real nerdy and get serious about it as well. We just had our 2021 Craft Whiskey Award show. You can catch that on YouTube. We typically have a Monday Night Live. Starting in February, we're going to be rolling back with our Evening With series and bringing on a lot of industry folk, a lot of distillers to get down and dirty with their process and their spirits and what they're doing. So be sure to tune in and catch that. And occasionally we'll throw out some good whiskey reviews as well. So.
Yeah, great show. Always a good time. Drew, tell us what we've got coming up next on
All
Bourbon
right, yeah.
Turntable.
Next week's show, we are talking lists, but specifically music lists and bourbon lists. So we got the great Dave Letterman on the
Yep.
graphic there. But yeah, we're chatting through some of these lists of greatest albums of all time. We're talking some top 10, top 100 whiskey lists. Just kind of giving our 2 cents on those. So it's going to be a really fun show.
Yeah, it will be a lot of fun, and I'll look forward to doing that with you guys, taking down some lists and maybe making a few of our own in the process. So, again, as Mike told you at the beginning, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Give us that thumbs up, and we always appreciate your comments. And just tell a friend if you're enjoying what we're doing. Pass it along. We would appreciate it. And as always, we will have a playlist available to accompany the show in the comments of our YouTube page and Facebook. So be sure to check that out as well. So on behalf of Ben and Drew and myself, thank you guys for tuning in, and cheers, love, and free bird.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.